Now I know why people don't get my notifications now. I ain't got to question that no more. Man, for anybody who subscribe, I'm only doing this for people who subscribe, so they'll know what's going on. You subscribe, so I know people was asking me, why is this happening? And bruh, for what I'm seeing right now, and I'm only saying this for people who subscribe, but uh yeah, it be some weird stuff going on behind the scenes that I usually don't discuss. You know, it be some weird stuff going on behind the scenes that I usually don't discuss. Um, Not really a need to be honest with you. But this right here is nasty, bro. To be honest with you. Yeah, this is bad, man. So, man, I usually don't bring up stuff like this, but I'm gonna talk about this for a minute. But you know, a lot of times I don't really care too much about the views because I ain't really talk about boxing to get a million views a video. You know, I can do that on other topics. Boxing ain't really that popular like that, anyways. It ain't the NBA or nothing like that. But what I seen yesterday was very weird. Very weird. I can't even, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think like, man, I'm tripping. You know, why am I thinking that this is happening? I don't think that's gonna happen. You know, sometimes you'll tell yourself like, nah, that can't be true. Then you look at what's actually going on. Then you say, hey, this is true. But YouTube is tripping right now. When I say they are tripping, especially on me, I don't know who else, and this is no disrespect to anybody else, but I don't know who else talks about boxing on YouTube to the point where YouTube is offended the way they are with me. I'm talking about super offended. I've been kicked out of StreamYard for hours while I was on live. I've had audio messing up. I've had fake accounts in my on my channel. I've had accounts that's not even real accounts. I've been locked out of trying to get moderators. Like, you know, if I was trying to remove or add a moderator, I was locked out of that. What else? It was people that was telling me they couldn't hit the like button. It was people like from all over that said, hey, I can't hit the like button. And I thought they was trolling at first, but multiple people said that. So you have YouTube that's literally mad at me. People that's, I guess, allegedly work for YouTube that's mad at me for my boxing takes. Now, mind you, I haven't said no lies about boxing since I've been on here. But for some reason, whatever Can't Face It Boxing is talking about when it comes to boxing, the people who are at YouTube are very, very hurt about that. They are very hurt. I mean, whatever videos I post, it hurts their feelings badly. And this is just boxing. Whatever I talk about at YouTube is hurting YouTube's feelings very badly. And I'm talking about boxing. I'm not on here talking about politics. I'm not on here talking about illegal immigrants. I'm not on here talking about who shot who, what rapper got gunned down, and I'm not talking about anything that's controversial. I'm literally just reading articles and going from there. Whatever I've been saying for the past, I would say 9 months, probably longer than that. No, I'll probably say 12 months. Whatever I've been saying for the past 12 months has them very, very upset. I can't go into detail about what I have that's proof of about what I'm saying. But let's just say that if I have a live video and it has 24 likes, 24 views, if I have a video that has 20 views, 30 views, they thought that was gonna stop me from posting videos. Because I have a video that's for 20 views, 5 likes. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to get him, discourage him from uploading videos. So when they can't discourage me from making videos and, they try to make me fold, then they go from doing that to messing with my audio. They'll send people over here that's not even people that actually want to be on the channel. You'll have people that's acting like they're viewers or subscribers. Exactly. Appreciate it, Aaron. And listen to what Aaron said in the chat. I noticed a problem with clicking like and it not working right too. And appreciate that, Aaron. Shout out to Aaron. Bro, I'm just making this video to let everybody know who comes through my channel, trolls and everything else. First of all, a lot of these trolls are not just regular people that go around. A lot of these trolls, I can't really get into it deeply, but a lot of these trolls have a lot more money and power than what y'all realize. I'm talking about trolls. They come into these chats where y'all be like, oh, that's just a random fan or that's a kid. Nah, they have a lot more money and power than you realize. But I seen something yesterday. That's why I say when it comes to, that's why when I talk about boxing is a lot more serious than people realize. You got people online talking about LeBron James and did steroids and stuff like that. Stuff that really can, you got people online just saying outrageous claims. I'm saying stuff that you actually have in the newspapers. You know what I'm saying? So I had a conversation with a helpline last night because too many subscribers kept coming to me saying, hey man, I can't hit the like button. I can't do this. I can't do that. And anybody who knows me, bro, I don't care about no views and no likes. I mean, I'm supposed to, but with the content I put out, I mean, I'm not really supposed to be caring about that because it's not something that people gravitate to. But what I seen yesterday, that's why I said, people say, why you don't show your face? Brother, I'm not even showing my face now and I'm getting in trouble. Do y'all not understand? I used to work for cyber companies like this. I know what goes on behind the scenes. But that's why I say I'm a lot smarter than they realize. But, bro, this is about boxing. Y'all got to realize this. Out of all the people who report boxing online, on YouTube, for some reason, they feel like I am such a threat when whatever threat that they don't want to have around as far as a large viewing or whatever, they don't want me to, they just don't want me to improve. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm not upset, as you can hear my voice. I'm not upset about it. But you got to understand, people who watch my channel feel like, okay, well, maybe he blocked me or maybe, no, I'm not doing none of that stuff. This is them doing it. Oh, why I can't hit the like button? That's them doing it. I bet you can hit the dislike. Next time you can't hit the like button, try to hit the dislike button. And I bet it work. So y'all gotta realize when I talk about how serious boxing really is and how serious these dudes is, I'm not just talking about people that's in my chat or people that pop up. I'm talking about behind the scenes too. These people are extreme about boxing. I'm telling you, a lot of these people get off. They are like, it's almost like an addiction. And we're talking about people who work behind the scenes. We ain't talking about people who are fans that come to chats every day to hear about real boxing news. So the fact that this actually goes on like this goes to show you that the sport of boxing is a lot more deeper than people realize. And my thing is, what are they so scared about with me? I've heard people say things about boxers and everything else that's went to. I mean, this is why people see me get upset when they do the Devin Haney thing. You see people do all kind of stuff with Devin Haney now. Says all kind of things. And they have no issues like my channel does. They say all kind of stuff about all these other boxers, trolling those boxers. And now people will say, well, you probably messing with somebody's money. They're messing with people's money. They're trolling guys who's on pay-per-view. They're trolling guys who's on pay-per-view. It ain't that many pay-per-view stars in boxing. So you have channels that's out here trolling guys on pay-per-view, and they look past that, but they'll come over here and be like, oh, well, what is he talking about? So it's a lot more serious than people realize. I don't just get on here and just be talking about boxing the way I do. Like, y'all gotta realize, I'm doing some JFK stuff when I get up here and talk about boxing. I don't be asking people to hit the like, but it definitely is mandatory that you hit the like button. Because if you know what goes on in my situation, bro, I done been locked out of my channel before. As soon as I made it, it was like I was risking losing it. Everything. And shout out to Aaron too for coming through, man. Appreciate that, Aaron. But people don't realize this. Like, boxing is a lot more serious than people realize. Oh, it's just a sport. Oh, it's just this. It's just that. It's just that. No, it's not, bro. It's not. It's not. When I tell you they're all about race when it comes to stuff like this, and you could think, maybe I'm talking about a track meet when I say race. Maybe I'm talking about somebody running down the street. Maybe two guys is having a foot race and we saying that. That's probably what I'm talking about. But when I say they're all about that, they're all about that. They are trying to force me to attack fighters that I don't feel like attacking. This is why I say when guys like Tank Davis, when you up here slandering other black boxers, these people at YouTube love that. They get sexual gratification from you doing stuff like that. It almost reminds them of slavery days. Yeah, somebody got off just now. Good. This is not the conversation for you. This is a serious fucking conversation right now. Anybody who's offended by race or something that I say, please unsubscribe. Please get the fuck out of here. No offense, but please get the fuck out of here. Real shit. Please get the fuck out of here. Please unsubscribe. Don't come back. Please. If you that much of a pussy, please get up out of here. Please get, just being real. Just being real. That's an example right there. Somebody want to listen in and be nosy and then like, oh, he bringing up race. Man, get the fuck out, bro. I hate people sitting around listening to what I say. I already got people stealing my goddamn videos and not hitting the like, ain't resharing the shit or nothing. You don't hear me on here complaining like, hey man, so and so took my video. I don't call nobody names out of nothing. I'm a grown ass man. I keep it pushing. But when I see stuff like this go on, I'm like, God damn. Am I a conspiracy theorist or why the shit going? Why is it happening the way it is right now? And this ain't about no views or nothing. This just goes to show that when dudes be online talking about certain guys going back and forth, that's why it be people behind the scenes doing shit like this. It's a reason why one of the biggest conversations last year in boxing was Boots Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. You know, the guys in the algorithm, they love that shit. Now everybody don't. Now they said last year, and I'm finna break some shit down right now. They said last year that nobody knew who Brian Norman Jr. was, but as soon as him and Boots Ennis started going back and forth, that shit shot across the goddamn internet like it was Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney 2.0. You think that was coincidence? Do you think that was really coincidence? I'm just asking. Because they'll tell you how other boxers are bigger and they got a bigger name and this and this. Okay, why don't the algorithm act like it then? You know what I'm saying? Why would I look at the algorithm? Why is Dave Morrell's name jumping across the algorithm a lot more than Berlanga and Munguia? Why is it two guys that's fought Canelo, why their names are not going across the algorithm the same way as a David Morrell? Why? Because somebody behind the scene want him to beat Dave Benavidez? And people will think that don't happen. Okay. You don't think somebody behind the scenes that got a regular job that's listening to all this stuff behind the scene, they say, you know what? I think that Morrell guy get Benavidez. Let me push his name out there across the algorithm. So that happens all the time. I'm just letting you know that right now. When they want to push something, they gonna push it. So this is basically letting me know, hey, we don't like you talking about certain people and certain things. Hey, go talk about. They like, hey, go talk about Tank again. That's why I say when dudes be playing into that kind of role where they be like, oh, this guy ducking. He an email chimp or he a pillow fist. Them videos go. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody hear about that. You got people, trust me, you got people that don't even watch boxing that know about all that stuff. Because YouTube gonna make sure they see that. Oh, it's a pillow fist. Oh, that guy got dropped. The first time somebody seen Devin Haney was probably when he fought Ryan Garcia and got dropped. They had them highlights going across. A lot of people still haven't seen. A lot of people don't even know Ryan Garcia took a knee against Tank because they not promoting that on the algorithm. And people talking about unbiased and we want to be fair and I want to hear some unbiased opinion on boxing. You ain't finna hear that. You ain't finna hear that. You ain't hearing that. I'm gonna be 100 with you ain't hearing that. You ain't gonna hear it. To be honest with you. And you ain't gonna hear it. The way boxing is being reported right now is they reward the people who play nice. And I don't play nice. I don't do what they want me to do. I don't post the same video that everybody else posts one day and then, you know, because I'm going to tell you something else. If you post something similar to what somebody else posts and their video is going all over the place or certain things happen, Oh, the algorithm will push that. They'll push it for sure. One of the smallest videos I ever had was when Ryan Garcia popped for PEDs and I reacted to it. That's when I knew then. I said, okay. That's weird. Dude just had the biggest fight of his career because that's the only fight that people talk about that he was in. And for some reason, when I talk about it, nobody wants to hear about it. I'm like, okay, that's strange. Very strange. But yeah, that just goes to show right there that YouTube wants me to be that guinea pig and push out certain narratives for them. If I don't, they're not gonna reward me. So they like, you don't play massa games, you don't tap dance the right way, then you ain't gonna get rewarded. We need you to dance, tap dance like everybody else. If you don't do that, then it's very nasty what's going on. But I'm glad it happened because I have proof. And matter of fact, if y'all in my Discord, I'm gonna show y'all. Matter of fact, if you're in the Discord, I'm gonna show you when I get off of here what I'm talking about. So everybody can see in the Discord later on. I'll drop it. And I'll explain what to look for and what not. What's going on, Native Wild Man? But I'm gonna show y'all in the Discord what I'm talking about. And when I show y'all, y'all gonna be like, bro, there's no way this is supposed to happen, especially on YouTube. Yes. Native Wild Man has a YouTube channel, so he'll know what I'm talking about. But YouTube is they're very offended by my boxing opinion. Very offended. They do not like how I get in depth with certain things. It's actually a compliment because it tells me, hey man, out of all the people that's on YouTube, we feel like you're the most dangerous. We feel like you're the biggest threat right now on YouTube. So what we're going to do is we're going to mess with you. And they don't like it because, like I said, bro, I don't really be crying about no numbers like that. I see how they do everybody else and how they do me. Oh, y'all had got snow? Dang. I heard it's like 44 degrees up there. But yeah, I noticed that recently. I was like, oh, okay. And then I got the proof today. Because I wasn't going to say nothing, but Aaron was saying recently about how he couldn't hit the like button. And a couple of other people did too. So I was like, let me go check this out, see what they're talking about. I asked them, they like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Then I told them about a problem. And it showed that they was doing something on purpose. So instead of them saying, hey, can't face it boxing, you right. We did do this on purpose and try to mess with you. And you caught us. Instead of them saying you caught us, they try to change it back to the way it was before. Let me give you an example. Let's just say I had a video that had 1,000 views. Then I come back on there today, and let's just say it got 2 views. Obviously, you're going to know that that's weird. You're going to be like, what? 2 views? I had like 5 people in there. So I know I at least had 5 people in there. I don't know how many people came in and out the video, but I know at least I had 5 people in there. 2 views. How I go from 1,000 to 2? So if you hit them up and be like, hey, the video yesterday I told y'all about, it was at 1,000. Now it's at 2. And they say, oh, okay. And then later on, you got 800 views. You're going to be like, what? How do I have 800 views when it was just at 2 and before that it was at 1,000? So now you're going to be thinking like, bro, What is my real numbers? Just something to think about. But we're just talking about boxing now. I want y'all to realize this. We're just talking about boxing. This is not something we're not talking about politics or nothing else. I'm talking about it's a lot more serious things I see people talking about online where I'm like, whoa. They letting people talk about this? They letting people do this online? You got girls that's naked and nude on YouTube right now. So I know they ain't focusing on me. You got nude videos on YouTube now. And y'all worried about a boxing channel? You know why? Because it's the only place where you can discuss boxing and act like it's not about race. See, in the NBA, you can't really do that because everybody got to, so now I ain't going to get too much into that, but in the NFL and NBA, instead of them saying, oh, well, this guy can beat this guy, they'll just favor one guy, for reasons unknown. But we know what reasons. But they're trying to force me to not talk about certain fighters, bro. That's why I tell y'all, these people are a lot smarter than y'all realize. The only question now that I have is someone telling you to do this, or do you feel this way? That's the crazy part. And the weirdest part is if I criticize a Spanish boxer, I'm gonna have a Spanish guy that's in the Google support specialist. I mean, I just talked to a Spanish guy. I know he was Spanish because his name was Hugo. He probably listening right now. Spanish guy named Hugo. He's acting like he don't know what are you talking about? Okay. Sure. I'm just throwing that advice out there for anybody who's thinking about making a channel, who's made one. Bro, y'all gotta understand. Even on a platform like this, you still gonna run into discrimination. Even if you don't show your face. And this is just boxing. But like I say, people take boxing a lot more serious. This is why I take boxing seriously. I've seen what people have used boxing to actually do. Just like I heard the heavyweight yesterday, Ajit Caviel, said some of the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. The man said, oh yeah, I'll think about fighting Joshua or Wilder. And Joshua, he has a name. He said Wilder just got a name. What the fuck you think Anthony Joshua got? Anthony Joshua is not no goddamn all-time great heavyweight right now. Anthony Joshua is a regular heavyweight in this era of boxing. He has not done anything spectacular in the last 10 years. The fact that I even let you clowns walk around and discuss Anthony Joshua like he's automatically better than Deontay Wilder. Bro, he ain't never knocked people out like Deontay Wilder. He ain't never looked like that spectacular. Against a bum, he ain't never looked like that. But you have the media that has a guy from Germany who's a heavyweight who thinks that going 12 rounds with Joseph Parker, like Anthony Joshua, I guess that considers you having your career. That's a career ender for you. And then if you go get knocked out in the middle rounds by Zhilei Zhang, a guy with 100% knockout rate almost. I mean, Zhang drops everybody he fights. Didn't he drop Caviel? Didn't Caviel get dropped by Zhang? The dude got dropped by Zhang. Zhang's like 42 years old. 42, 43 years old. You went there, got dropped by Zhang. And you've been active. So you got dropped by Zhang. You stopped him. Anthony Joshua got knocked down in every round against Daniel Dubois. The worst performance I've ever seen. Between him and Wilder, Wilder's never had a performance the way the way that Anthony Joshua looked against Daniel Dubois. He got knocked down in almost every round except like the 4th round or something. He got knocked down in every round. If that was Deontay Wilder, they would stop the fight in the 3rd round. He got knocked down in every round. But you'll have a guy like Caviel say, oh, Wilder's just a name. So having a draw with Tyson Fury, that considers you a bum? And they don't want me to talk about stuff like this on YouTube. They're okay with people thinking that believing these ghost stories in boxing, like, oh, this guy's just unbeatable, and oh, I favor this guy. That's what they don't want people talking about, like, especially me, because I'm the one, I don't care about other people's opinions when it comes to certain things. If anybody could tell me a performance that Deontay Wilder had that's worse than the performance that Anthony Joshua had against Daniel Dubois, I'll shut my channel down today. Find anybody. Anybody right now, tell me a fight where Deontay Wilder got knocked down in almost every round. 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever. And the fight was still going? And the fight was still going on? But they'll say that Wilder's just a name, but Anthony Joshua, oh, he's big time. By beating who? The man got knocked out by Ruiz. Ever since he got knocked out by Andy Ruiz, we should have already known what kind of talent he was. Imagine if let me ask y'all a question. What's worse, getting knocked out by Zhang or getting knocked out by Andy Ruiz? Because last time I checked, Zhang was in the Olympics, right? And he knocked down Joseph Parker twice, right? Before he fought Wilder. And what people don't notice is most of the fights that Wilder got stopped in, he was standing on his feet. But they'll tell you, oh, he's just a name. He's just a name right now. Oh, I think his career is finished. Oh, if you don't say that about Anthony Joshua, you're going to be admitting that you're biased. And people try to act like I grew up on Mike Tyson. No, you didn't. Mike Tyson lost every big fight that he had. You didn't grow up on Mike Tyson. Stop it. If you did grow up on Mike Tyson, you didn't like him. As soon as Mike Tyson put the marijuana joint down and put the gloves up, you heard how everybody felt about Mike Tyson. Y'all notice that? But this is why they don't want me to discuss boxing the way I do, because I'm not going to be saying the things that people want to say. People pushing narratives and stuff. But like I said, anybody find me a fight that Deontay Wilder had, a performance that was worse than Anthony Joshua's last fight he just had, and we're talking about him fighting a title fight next, yeah, I shut the channel down today. It wouldn't be no reason for me to be unboxing. Last time I checked, Wilder ain't lose to a cruiserweight and get dropped by an MMA fighter. If he did, I'll say hang it up, dog. It's a wrap. You just lost to a cruiserweight and you got dropped by an MMA fighter. But the media, they'll make things look way better than what they are. And these people behind the scenes in the Matrix, they the ones who create these headlines. They the ones who make these things go. But I be letting that slide way too much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I let that slide way too much. I let that slide way too much. The way some people talk about the same things every day, bro, I let that slide way too much. Like if I was really biased, I would be talking about that every day. That definitely bothers me. It really does. Because if he's a guy who's as successful as he is, what do they think about me then? If they think that about him, what do they think about me? Am I less than? Because you favor another guy? Because you're from the same place? Or you look like him? So that makes me less than? Is that where boxing is going? How long is boxing gonna survive like that? That's why I'm glad Dana White is stepping in. When I watch UFC, we ain't gotta worry about who's Spanish, black, white, Chinese. Doesn't matter. You said biggest boxer Tyson beat was Larry Holmes. Yeah, Larry Holmes he wasn't the same Larry Holmes, but yeah, that was the biggest one. But I'm talking about when Mike Tyson had a chance to fight Holyfield and Evander Holyfield, and when I was, I went live back then when he fought Larry Holmes, but I seen live when he fought Evander and Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Dude, man, you gotta think about it. Evander beat him up so bad, he bit the dude's ear off. He beat the guy up so bad, he bit his ear off. So that's the worst kind of, even if he beat Larry Holmes, that right there, you can't find too many fighters to get. If a dude bit somebody's ear off today in boxing, they wouldn't be able to come back from it. But yeah, that is true. Larry Holmes. But you can't find too many heavyweights right now that can have a draw with Tyson Fury. I was thinking back yesterday, I'm like, okay, what if Ryan Garcia had a draw with Tank Davis? Like Lamont Roach has right now. Would people make a big deal out of that? Yes, they would. They absolutely would make a big deal out of it. They absolutely will make a big deal out of it. I've seen fighters recently, Ryan Garcia is one of them, that all he has to do is get a couple of knockdowns in a fight, and automatically everybody thinks he won the fight. And that man doesn't outbox a lot of people. He has to get the knockout. He was getting outboxed by Oscar Duarte. People forget about that. Go back and watch the fight with Oscar Duarte. Without the knockout power that was probably artificial, he wasn't going to be able to get that knockout. Oscar Duarte was beating him, outboxing Ryan Garcia. And he wasn't drug test that fight. He said when Cuz passed away, Mike was eroding his skills. Yeah, but Mike wasn't gonna beat no Evander Holyfield though. And him and Lennox Lewis had already fought when Cus was alive, and he got beat up then. See, Lennox Lewis had already fought Mike Tyson and beat him up back then. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson just ain't had no jab. He was limited. Mike Tyson and Pitbull, Nick Ball, that's the type of fighter Mike Tyson is. Like, he's like a Nick Ball, Eastside Cruz type of fighter. That's why everybody call Eastside Cruz the Mexican Mike Tyson. Because Mike don't throw no jabs like that. He just throws hooks. He does his dips. That's only gonna take you so far in boxing. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying though. That's facts, Native Wild Man. But that was only gonna take Mike so far. So Mike, in my mind, he was one-dimensional. They didn't ask Mike to do the same things that they asked Deontay Wilder. Oh, you need to get a jab. You need to get this. Man, Deontay Wilder got a bronze medal. And the man started boxing at 21. He started boxing at 21, was in the Olympics at 23. No man on earth can do that. You won't find another boxer that ever walked this earth that started boxing at 21 and be in the Olympics at 23. With the talent we have these days and how many people that actually box and the amount of heavyweights we have right now, you got to think about it. We have so many heavyweights in this era of boxing that Tyson Fury and Joshua haven't even fought each other. That's how many heavyweights, because people say, oh, this era of heavyweights is, this is a weak era of heavyweights. This is a weak era. Bro, if it's so weak, why has everybody been celebrating all the other guys that Fury and Joshua have been fighting except themselves. This is not a weak era of boxing as far as heavyweights. If it was, why didn't Tyson Fury and Joshua fight each other instead of fighting these other guys? And then Joshua got stopped by Dubois. Badly. And lost to a cruiserweight twice. Him and Fury. This is a dangerous era of heavyweights. And got outboxed. So they couldn't even rely on one-punch knockout power. So instead of being one-dimensional, you was no-dimensional. But I just never understood that, bro. When people say certain things, it just it's become so normal because nobody actually wants to have the balls to like go against the grain and say, hey man, what is going on with these people discussing certain fighters like they're actually a bum? They actually call a bronze medalist a bum, a guy who went and tracked down Tyson Fury 3 times and fought him. Never mind the fact he's one of the smallest heavyweights of all time. The smallest heavyweight of all time. One of the smallest. Him, Steve Cunningham. And guess what? Both of those guys was under 210 pounds and knocked down Tyson Fury. You said Mike had a good jab, but really, Eastside Cruz has a good jab, but they don't use it though. You know what I'm saying? Eastside Cruz has a good jab, but they don't use it. You got to be able to use it. Yeah, Teofimo Lopez has a good jab as well, Native Wild Man, but they don't use it. They don't use the jab like that. I can literally pull up some highlights right now where Deontay Wilder is jabbing Tyson Fury round after round after round after round. And people are making it seem like Tyson Fury is letting him jab him because if you've seen Tyson Fury fight other people, he's rushed those guys. Just like when he was doing with Usyk. I'll make this point even better. The first couple of rounds that Usyk fought Tyson Fury in the first fight, I can make a case the first 6 rounds Deontay Wilder did better than Usyk did. Because you remember what everybody said? Oh, Fury won 5 rounds in a row. Or something like that. So I can make a case that Deontay Wilder was doing the same amount of work that Usyk was doing against Tyson Fury. And Usyk didn't get 2 knockdowns in that fight. Man, I'm gonna tell you one thing too, man. I went back because I usually don't watch fights twice. You know, once I see it one time, I know what happens. I went back and watched Tyson Fury and Wilder, the 3rd fight. I went back and watched it, I want to say 2 days ago. It was Wilder had got 2 knockdowns in 1 round against Tyson Fury. Something people don't talk about. In the 3rd fight, he got 2 knockdowns against Tyson Fury. He knocked him down once, and he knocked him down the second time. The second time he knocked him down, that's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not a fanboy to the point where I'm just gonna be crying about something and I'm super upset. Definitely was hurt he lost, but it wasn't like the end of the world. When I seen that replay recently where I seen him knock Tyson Fury down the second time, and it was literally 10 seconds that went by, and Tyson Fury still picking himself off the ground, the referees doing long counts, and 1, 2. Then he's like, go over there, go over there, go over there. 3. This dude picks up right where he was counting it. Now 2 or 3 seconds have went by. I'm like, what? Oh yeah, this is why Turkey Al-Sheikh is in boxing. Absolutely, this is why Turkey Al-Sheikh is in boxing. This is another reason. I said this is another reason right here. This is another reason. And I think Anthony Joshua fell for the trap too, because I'm gonna tell you something else. The knockdown that Tyson Fury had against Deontay Wilder, it was worse than most of the knockdowns that a lot of guys been, especially Joshua when he fought Ruiz. Ruiz, when he got knocked down by Ruiz the second time, because he got knocked down once and there was another time in the fight he got knocked down. When he got up, his arms was like on the ropes. He like, yeah, I'm good. The ref like, nah, he waves it off. Joshua was literally standing there talking to the ref and everything. And he's like, what? Why are you stopping the fight? Bro, they never waved Tyson Fury off. Tyson Fury got knocked down twice in the first fight against Wilder, twice in the second fight. They didn't wave this man off at all. They let this man get the whole 10-second count. They let him lean on the ropes while the referee is counting still, which is, usually you wave a fight off when a guy does that. I seen Joshua get up faster and he was more alert than Tyson Fury, and they didn't wave the fight off. So I've seen a lot of things behind the scenes and up front where I'm like, how could you grow the sport of boxing like this? And what did the referee actually do by letting Tyson Fury get past the 10-second count? You pushed him down the line. You pushed him towards the finish line so he could be ahead of everybody else. They trying to force people to be in the front of the line, trying to force guys to be first place. If you would have had Tyson Fury lose that fight right then, you could have easily had Wilder going to a fight with Joshua or Usyk or whoever. Now you might not have anybody knock out Usyk. The one guy that could have knocked out Usyk when he was in his prime, and the UK would have never had any Usyk problems. Usyk has beat Tyson Fury twice, Joshua twice. He beat Dubois once, and he beat Chisora once. All the top UK guys. Beat him so bad to the point where now they talking about a 19, 20-year-old heavyweight. And laughing at Jared Anderson for trying to be great, trying to fight a guy that nobody else was trying to fight in the UK. Oh, this is the best kept secret right here. That ain't no secret. He been sparring everybody. The man said he broke Danny Dubois' jaw or something like that. So Bacoli wasn't no secret. But I was looking at that. If y'all just go back and look at that second knockdown that Wilder had in the Fury fight. Just go back and count. And see, if you don't feel something, then, maybe you don't look at things the way I do. That's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. And this is what I have a problem with when they try to push guys down the line in certain fights. Oh, let's just put him and Joshua in the fight with Ngannou. Even though Wilder was in negotiation for Ngannou 12 months before that, and everybody said it was a joke fight then, until he knocked down Fury, and then it ain't no joke no more. But I just look at certain things and I'm like, man, is boxing too far gone at this point? Maybe it won't be fixed. You can put as many fights together as you want, but once you have a whole fan base that doesn't like the top fighters, because I'll criticize a guy, but I'll give a guy credit. Trust me. I'll give a guy credit. But once it starts to be, oh, well, we'll criticize this guy, but not that guy, nah. Like just like yesterday, the video I made, nobody said anything about Berlanga being overweight this weekend. Benavidez is headline news. Benavidez, if he's not the next face of boxing, or one of the next faces of boxing, it's a problem for the way fans react to him. They know how much he weighs. They know his shoe size, his pants size, and everything. If you ask these guys how much their dad weighs right now, or their son, or their cousin or brother, they won't know how much he weighs, but they know how much Benavidez weighs. I'm talking about from fight to fight, too. Oh, 215, 205, holy, 195. Oh, no, he's 193. It's biasness. But I'm going to get to the real story what I want to talk about, though. It wasn't look like a little rant, but that was just something to let people know, like, hey, man, look in the mirror for a moment. If promoters are walking around boxing talking about we need to fix boxing, it's no reason for fans to be jumping up and down. Not yet. Let everything happen first and then, but not yet though. We still got guys popping for PEDs and all kind of stuff going on. This is definitely not the golden era of boxing right now. Could be, but not right now. But it was some news that came out today that I was hearing about. And Tszyu came out with a story. And Tszyu was discussing about, he has a fight coming up in 2 or 3 weeks. And we know that Tszyu trying to get back into the loop at 154. He's not that far away. He got to make some magic happen. They're talking about him and Keith Thurman possibly. I don't know. Keith Thurman's calling out other names. It don't sound like, even though Tszyu got put down, it don't seem like Keith Thurman is still, trying to make that fight happen. Because that would be a good fight. And that would be a good matchup. Perfect for both of the guys. They don't really have a name they don't have any other options right now. So that's the best option to have. But Tszyu said some things like, he said against Bakaram, he tried to get a knockout in 2 rounds. I believe that. He also said he was a lot more serious this time and everything else. But one thing I noticed that he said I did not like. He said that he doesn't watch much film on the guys he goes against. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, hold on. Tszyu went out there and got a knockout against all these guys like Brian Mendoza. Went out there and put in work. And for some reason, he's saying that he doesn't watch film on fighters he goes against like that. He does, but he doesn't really look at it like that. Like he'll look at it, but not really just studying 24/7. He'll just watch a little tape on them. Bro, I'm going to tell y'all something right now. That's the difference between guys who are great and guys who are just good. Guys who are great and guys who are just good. At the level that Tszyu is at, I feel like he should have been a guy who was looking at Bakaram's fights. Probably should have even went to the fight. Because you knew that was a guy that had the belt and he was going to be somebody down the line that you was possibly going to face. He went to Virgil Ortiz fight between him and Boychuk. He was at that fight. But you didn't fight him. You ended up fighting Bakaram. And my thing is, why is this guy not watching people on film like that? And I know he's not the only one, because I've heard a lot of people say, I don't watch the guys that much, or some people say I don't look at my opponents before the fight, or some people will say, well, my team handles all that. This is why I say the Dana White situation is going to be a problem, because a lot of these guys are overlooking their opponents they actually are dealing with on a daily basis. They think that a lot of these guys are not the elite of the elite. See, what they have to realize is Turkey Al-Sheikh is making this kind of like in the 90s and the 80s, kind of like what Native Wildman was just talking about. Larry Holmes, Mike Tyson, Evander. You're going to start to see a lot of that stuff he was saying, like guys that have good jabs, but they rarely use it. You're going to see a lot of guys with good jabs, but they rarely use the jab. That's why I was saying in Virgil Ortiz last fight against Majramov, I was like, Virgil Ortiz was using that jab at a high level. Because the first couple of rounds, he was looking, kind of off a little bit, but he started to pick it up with that jab. Started to look different. He was doing a good job, too. But when you look at what these guys are doing in boxing right now, you just got to look at certain things and say, man, I don't know, man. You just got to say, I don't know sometimes. And I am supposed to do I was supposed to do a panel today. I'm gonna do a panel in the morning and tomorrow and tomorrow night. Everybody who wants to do a panel, I'm gonna do one tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. I'm gonna try to start doing one in the morning and night. I know you guys be wanting to talk about certain things. So anybody want to give me a topic or anything to talk about? We can talk about old school, new school, boxing, whatever. Anybody who got any topics, let me know. And I will definitely give you guys a chance to get on here and voice your opinions tomorrow or whenever. Whenever you guys feel like it, I'll let you guys come on here and voice your opinions on some things. Cause I definitely want other people to talk. I don't want to ball hog and act like I know everything and try to ignore everybody on the channel. I definitely want to hear everybody's opinion. I don't know everything out here. So I would definitely like to hear you guys' opinion on a lot of these things that's going on in boxing. But I just want to say that this is it's going to be called the golden age, but it has to be valued though. If a lot of people are not really being, I don't want to say supported, but if a lot of these boxers are going to be overlooked, like Lamont Roach, man, there's no reason why Lamont Roach. And to be honest with you, it was a blessing that Lamont Roach fought Tank, because if he wouldn't have fought Tank, I don't know if people would have looked at Lamont Roach the same. And that's kind of a bad thing in boxing right now, where if you're not fighting the top guy or a big name, you're not really getting looked at the same way as you would if you were just out here doing your own thing. You got to be able to break down certain fights the right way. But that goes back to what I say about Tszyu. I feel like Tszyu is a great fighter. He has great talent, but he's been fighting strictly off of his talent. And hard work has been going into that. But when you have a boxing IQ, you got to realize when you're Tszyu, hey man, I just got rocked by Bakaram. I can't go out there and try to knock him out. But everything that he said, it kind of goes in line with what I thought. He tried to go out there and get a knockout. Thought his head was bleeding. He didn't use that excuse, but I'm not gonna lie, he did think his head was bleeding. Cause I got the same mark on my head, the little gash that he has on the top of his head where he was bleeding. I actually have one of those in my head. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Man, that injury is bad. That's a bad injury. Cause it's almost like a concussion. And it's close to your brain. And that's where the blood is coming from. So that's a hard injury to get past. But I didn't like what he was talking about, his approach into the fight. I didn't like it. I was like, bro, you're not watching film? You're in one of the most dangerous weight classes in boxing. And you're fighting tough guys. You're not fighting easy competition. I would definitely recommend you, and I like the way his father's training him. I don't know why his father's not training him a lot more. He's training him before this fight. Trained him before the last fight. I didn't think Tszyu's training was a problem. He got to get behind that jab a little bit more. Especially when he has guys like Bakaram that's that big. He has to get behind that jab a little bit more. Because I know Jack Koke is not in a position where, and Jack Koke is a good fighter, but I don't know if he's better than Tszyu right now. But Tszyu literally said, I tried to knock him out in 2 rounds. I'm like, whoa, that was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. I can't believe he tried to knock out Bakaram in 2 rounds. And I believe him. I don't think it's just hype. He really did. His dad was there. He had the blood situation last time. People felt like he didn't try to press the gas in the Fundora fight. I think he needs to kind of take a step back a little bit, make some adjustments against a guy. Joey Spencer's still a good fighter. Joey Spencer can go out here and surprise somebody. But when you're fighting high competition all the time, it's kind of hard to go in the ring and just try something. You know, try something new or, you know, bring something new to the table. That's why I was saying last year when Teofimo Lopez was fighting guys like Claggett, like, man, you got to try to use that jab. That was your opportunity to try out that jab before you try to get in the ring with a Barbosa or somebody. Because Barbosa, people don't know he's a fighter like Kambosos, good counter puncher, same kind of skill set. So that was a good matchup that Turkey Al-Sheet and those guys came up with. But it just surprised me that Tszyu said that. But he's a very truthful guy. Gotta respect that. Gotta respect that. First thing about a boxer is I only ask for two things, really. You know, I like truthfulness and I like guys who will fight anybody. And you know, without Tszyu really being in the mix, Fundora, he was the underdog against Tszyu. You know, a lot of people do overlook that, but Fundora, he's fighting this weekend, but he was the underdog going against Tszyu. He was supposed to fight Boychuk, and I thought that was going to be a classic fight. But Boychuk, he wasn't really, you know, he already got knocked out before, so people wasn't really looking at him that much until the Virgil Ortiz fight. Most people don't even know he's been knocked out before. But he's gonna be able to bounce back, man. Right now it's gonna be a lot of guys that gotta make some adjustments and gotta get better. Even at an older age, even at 29, 30, still can get better. You definitely can get better. And I seen that with Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach is a perfect example of, and people might not believe that he's gotten better since he fought Jamel Herring, but the man has gotten better since 24 to 29. The last 5 years, he has gotten better. That is something people gotta pay attention to. You can't overlook that. Even a guy like Bivol has gotten better since he fought Canelo. The hardest thing for a boxer to do is to go back in the lab and try different things and work on yourself. It's hard for a guy to beat Canelo and then say, I need to work on myself. What can I get better at? Let me go fight some tougher guys or some guys just as tough as Canelo. So, you know, that's what you're going to see this year when you're watching boxing. You're going to see a lot of guys. People going to have a hard time making adjustments or just, you know, kind of doing things on the fly. It's going to be hard for guys to progress. Some guys might take one loss and probably can't get past that one loss. I forgot who said it recently. I wish I could have remember who said this recently. But somebody said, I think it was, no, I don't know if it was somebody, man. I don't know if it was Greg Hackett or somebody on his channel or somebody. But I heard somebody recently say it's certain guys that get better when they fight more, when the activity goes up. You know, like if guys are fighting every 3 months, there's some guys who can fight every 3 months. And some guys that only can fight every 8 months, every 6 months. Well, they're better when they fight every 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. You know, so the way the scheduling is going to go, it's almost going to be like the amateurs again, where guys are going to have to make certain adjustments without having to, you know, have that time where you can be to yourself and try to pick your next opponent. A lot of that stuff's going away. And this leads to my next topic. Navarrete, he's fighting Charlie Suarez coming up. Charlie Suarez is a Filipino fighter. He's fought a lot of different opponents over the years. And I think he's a big-time fighter. Especially for what you're looking for in that area, you know, with Suarez. Definitely in that area. But one thing I will say when it comes to Charlie Suarez is he's not a guy that people look at as a showstopper. And I thought that Navarrete was going to lean towards fighting a guy like Oshaquie Foster. Why is he not trying to unify with Oshaquie Foster right now? I'm not trying to say that he's ducking or anything. I'm not going to go that far. But I will say I'm surprised that he's not in the mix with a guy like Oshaquie Foster right now. And Oshaquie Foster was at his fight last time. I don't know if that's the top ranked thing when they're not willing to do that fight right now. But I don't like that. Don't like how that's going. Yeah, I definitely don't like that. I thought that Charlie Suarez was I'm not gonna say he's a bad fighter, but is he just as good as a let's just say Valdez or somebody? I don't know. I don't want to say it's a waste of time for Navarrete to get in the ring with him. That would be disrespectful, but is it a showcase fight? Like, is it something that people should pay attention to? I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. But that kind of surprised me that he's actually taking that fight, though. I wish people would actually pay attention to it, but that's not a good fight for him to take right now, to be honest with you. He's not gonna get a better fight Suarez. He went out there against Tszyu, and he took, I'm not gonna say a bad beating against Tszyu, but he took somewhat of a beating. And I think Suarez is just a guy that you could have probably found somebody else. But Suarez is a good fighter though. Fought a lot of guys, but he got a lot of miles on him though. If you look at Suarez's resume, I don't even gotta look at it. I haven't looked at Suarez's resume in months. Man, that dude has fought a lot of guys. And people, you can sleep on Filipino fighters. I know all of them are not Manny Pacquiao, but look at Lucas Body, the guy who knocked out Asher Survey last year, knockout of the year. He turns around and goes 12. Wait, I think he went the distance with the Filipino guy he fought. I think it was 10 rounds. I think that was a 10-round fight. That guy was a dog. And before that fight, I was saying to myself, Lucas did go 10 rounds the last fight. Maybe it might be a similar situation. I was like, it could be similar in a lot of different ways. From what I was seeing, I was like, yeah, it could be similar, man. It could be a similar fight. But you just don't want to overlook certain people because of where they're at in their career. That guy can come out there and beat Navarrete bad. But I don't want to, go all in on something like that. But I definitely think that's a matchup between him and Oshaquie Foster that should have happened. 130 is loaded too. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret too. I was saying that 130 was going to be better than featherweight last year. Well, this year I felt like 130 is better than 126 featherweight because they got Nick Ball and Espinoza and all those guys there. But you got to realize though, and this is before Lamont Roach had the good performance against Tank. Lamont Roach is still at 130, unless he moves up and he's strictly at 135. But currently, he's still a champion at 130. So when you look at that, you're kind of like, whoa, like, I don't know, man. You're like, I don't know. 130 is kind of dangerous right now. And I can't lie to you guys, it's a dangerous weight class right now. If you're at 130, you might want to reconsider what's going on up there. Because some guys got to move to 135. But if you're at 130, you definitely might want to reconsider what's going on. Might want to consider it. Because that's a tough weight class. Because that's a very tough weight class to be in. That's a very tough weight class. But another thing I was talking about recently, but was I wanted to talk about today was Edgar Berlanga. Between him, I was hearing news yesterday. To me, it's old news. To me, it's old news. But I was hearing about Edgar Berlanga, and his situation with Caleb Plant. And I was thinking to myself recently, I'm like, him and Caleb Plant still an option, right? But it seems as though the fight between him and Caleb Plant is not really something that they're looking to make right now. So they're looking towards Charlo for Berlanga, and they're looking towards Munguia still. He's still calling out Munguia, which is wild to me. It is wild that Munguia is an option. Not saying because Munguia still got to go get the rematch. No matter what happens, Munguia still has to go get the rematch between him and the other guy. That's why I was looking at things like, man, that's a little insane that Munguia doesn't get that rematch and win it, because how is he going to get this fight with Munguia? And he's technically on the outside looking in right now. Kind of surprised me on that one. I would definitely be lying. I'm saying, so Munguia's an option. Charlo's, I think Charlo fought at 68. No, he fought at 60, but he couldn't make 68, so he was like 64 against Benavidez Jr. And then he went along to, I guess he's going to 168 now. But why would he want to fight Charlo, though? That's why I said, if I'm David Morrell, this is why I was so upset with people trying to have David Morrell fight Benavidez so bad. I haven't heard nobody mention a fight with David Morrell. And I knew they were going to do David Morrell this way. I knew David Morrell was definitely going to be put in a position where people were saying he should fight Benavidez. But then if he doesn't beat Benavidez, they're going to look at him like, oh, well, you need to find your own fight. And it looks like that's the position he's in right now. He has to find his own fight. It looks like that's the position he's in. The man is going to have to go out and find his own fight. But what is Berlanga going to do? Is he still going to be on the outside as far as, is he going to have his fights without Turkey? I'm hearing that he's not going to be re-signing with Matchroom. Matchroom tried to re-sign him before the last fight. He didn't re-sign, so they didn't give him a credible opponent. Which is, things happen, but if he didn't get a credible opponent, I mean, if you're not re-signing, they're not really going to spend the money to actually make it happen. So it makes sense when you look at it, but you would want that guy to get a credible opponent if possible. And if I was promoter, I would do it just, if he loses, he's going to need you more. If he wins, he's probably not going to need you. But you probably would want to put him in there with a tough fight. But I think Eddie Hearn was still helping him out. I'm not going to say protecting him, but I think he was definitely still helping him out because fight could have went another direction. It could have went definitely another direction. I didn't feel like the guy he was fighting was competitive at all. The guy hasn't fought that much since the early 2010s. But that 168 division, so disappointing in that division. They could have did a lot more things better at that division. Very disappointed about that division. I felt like they could have put a lot of things together, but when you have guys like Charlo and all these guys sitting on the sideline, and then they're coming from 60, then the guys at 68 are open to fighting them, then Caleb Plant is getting overlooked. You got to think about it. Caleb Plant's been in the ring with Benavidez and Canelo. What kind of guy who fought Canelo and Benavidez can't get a fight? I'm pretty sure he can get a fight, but when? Is what I'm saying. It's not a matter of if, more so like when. Because that's a good fight for Berlanga fighting Caleb Plant right now. That is a very good fight. And that's something he needs to make happen. He definitely needs to make that happen. If not, you're going to be on the outside looking in for a long time. See, right now, this year is going to be so crazy because it's going to be a lot of names at the end of this year that's going to be a lot bigger than they were when they started the year off. Like Roach, we're already in March, and Lamont Roach is a big name, and he's basically beat the odds with a lot of people, and this is the reason why boxing is so great. Just like Nathan Wildman was saying, when Mike was fighting like Larry Holmes and things like that, it's gonna be a lot more fights like that, where you might see a Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes. I don't know. You might see a Chavez and Taylor type of fight. You know, that's what I can see. I can see Virgil Ortiz and Boots down the line being like Chavez versus Taylor. It could be a fight like that. Because if those guys fight each other, I don't know. Somebody might get a stoppage. I can see it go in the distance because the way they box, they're smart. Both smart boxers, not going to take a chance. But the matchups are getting more intriguing as each day goes by. And like I told people, you know, the ducking was a good selling point, but I don't think we got to focus too much on that anymore. Not to say it's going away, but I don't think it's as dangerous as it once was, as far as people not lining up to actually make certain fights happen. It's always been a money issue, and you know, like most people don't want to lose their golden goose, so you're always gonna protect the biggest boxer, as we've seen recently. You know, people will go to outrageous lengths to protect a record of someone, or even the image in boxing. That's why I say a lot of times when you say people are ducking me, it's kind of a curse. I don't want to sound too serious, but it's kind of a curse, because if you say someone's ducking you and then you go out there and look sloppy against somebody, 9 times out of 10, most fans will be like, oh man, nobody ducking you, man. Look how bad you look in your last fight. Why would somebody duck you and you look bad in your last fight? So that's kind of what's going to be going on. But if I was a boxer, I definitely would not. And that's a good thing for me to ask too. I might talk about that tomorrow. Has anybody heard about boxers saying that guys are ducking them this year? As each day goes by, I'm starting to hear less and less about fighters actually saying that guys are ducking them. Got to be honest, I haven't been hearing too much of the duck talk recently. Have not heard too much of it. It's a good thing, but because that lets you know that they know it's time to put up or shut up. The money's here. Everything you need is here. That's why when Dana White gets started, I think, like I said, from what I'm hearing right now, Dana White will be he'll be included in the Canelo and Crawford situation. So once it gets close to that fight, and once that fight happens, that fight is going to be the, how do I say? That fight is going to be the introduction of a new era in boxing. It's going to be a golden age. Not the golden age, but it will be. Because we're in boxing right now, we might not look at these fighters as very talented or guys who are just as good as any other generation. But shoot, these guys been fighting just as much as these other generations. If you really look at it, if you look at the amateurs, how many times these guys fought each other before they turned pro? I mean, some of these guys fought so much. You had Frank Martin and Virgil Ortiz fight each other. And Frank Martin was a late bloomer when he started fighting. So that just shows you how much guys have actually gotten to the gym and actually worked on their own skill set before they even turn pro. That's why guys like Lomachenko, he's smart about it. He's like, hey man, I can go ahead and turn pro at 18, or I can sit around here and wait until mid-20s, make sure I'm got my skill set all the way perfect. So I don't have to go into the pros and try to learn on the fly. Some guys can do it, some guys can't. That's why a lot of times in America, and UK does this a lot too. UK, other places, Australia, but a lot of those times, Mexico especially. You know, Mexico, they turn pro in high school. Almost middle school guys are turning pro. But it's hard to turn pro and just immediately start fighting guys at a high level. That's why what Floyd Schofield was going to do recently was unheard of. Like, you're going to go from having your first main event fight to fighting Shakur Stevenson, silver medalist, who's known as a superior boxer. It's like, oh, hold on now. I got to see this to believe it. So that's why it was kind of a backbreaker when he pulled out the fight. When he pulled out the fight, a lot of people looked at it like, man, I definitely would have liked to see him actually, pull through with this fight and make something happen. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. Would have been nice to see him pull through for that fight, though. Especially when you know how good guys actually been over the years. You definitely want to see people take certain matchups. That would have been a good fight for him to take, too. Yeah, that would have been a very good fight for him to take. In my opinion, I feel like it was. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I like the way that boxing is moving, though. But it just has to, it's going to be a lot of people playing catch up when it's all said and done, because no offense, but a lot of people still looking at boxing as if this is still 5 or 10 years ago. And it's not around that time no more. You know when the fights are coming up, you're going to know what's going to happen. You have fights now that's playing 2 or 3 fights ahead. Some of the stuff that Turkey's doing, you don't even get that in UFC. In UFC, you don't mostly know what guys' next 2 fights are going to be before they have their first fight. If I got a fight coming up, you know what my next fight is going to be. Then you know what the fight after that's going to be. That's why when you're doing stuff like that, you're gonna need a Dana White to step in because you're kind of pushing the envelope, and people not realizing that with Turkey Al-Sheikh, but it's very hard to plan fights ahead of time. And you're planning 2 fights, so you got fight plans. And usually when they put out fight plans, that's kind of like behind the scenes type of thing. That's why when you got people putting out the fight plans now for Boots Ennis or Teofimo Lopez or Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney, that's why right now you don't hear anybody asking questions about who's ducking or who's going to fight next. You know what Ryan Garcia's next 2 fights are going to be. You know what Devin Haney's next 2 fights going to be. Teofimo Lopez. Most people you can name right now. And those are the fighters that people have been interested in seeing when their next couple of fights are going to be. So that's definitely something that you want to pay attention to, especially when it comes to sport of boxing these days. Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They're not going to be able to come back in 10 years from now and try to do 2 fight plans. You got to have certain fighters to do that anyways. Even if Tank had a fight plan next, let's just say Tank was saying, I'm going to fight Shakur Stevenson after I fight Lamont Roach. They doing a rematch right now. So everything in boxing is not guaranteed. That's one thing I have noticed. Everything in boxing is not guaranteed to actually happen. And it's a lot of surprises that happen. It's a lot of surprises. But I've noticed certain fights now where I'm like, even with Navarrete, I'm like, man, what fight are you gonna? Because he looked good against Valdez, didn't take that much punishment. Man, you supposed to be getting in the ring with Oshaquie Foster right now. But I think Navarrete, I hope he's not doing what Williams Zepeda's doing. And he's not even doing what Williams Zepeda's doing. Williams Zepeda is actually jumping in the ring with Tevin Farmer again because, he didn't feel like he was fully prepared the last fight against that style. Hasn't fought that style that much. But Navarrete just fighting Charlie Suarez. I'm like, man, come on, man. And I like Charlie Suarez, but let's be real. Charlie Suarez is 18-0, 36 years old, 5'6", but he got a 74-inch arm reach, which is insane. That man's arms is longer than Danny Garcia and a couple of other guys. Man got some long arms, man. 74-inch arm reach. Man, is this right? And he's 5'6". This man's arms is touching the ground. But yeah, he's 18-0, Olympian. So he's definitely Charlie Suarez, he's definitely a good fighter. I know the Olympic Games, he had got like a gold medal before. So he's not a trash fighter, trust me. But just me, the way I'm thinking, I'm like, man, Navarrete, you doing that? Kind of surprised me on that one. I'm like, man, Navarrete, I ain't know you was gonna try to take that direction with the fight. But yeah, some good matchups coming out of boxing right now. And if everybody's able to, get some things going, you can definitely make some noise in boxing right now. But I think once the Dana White thing, because I've been watching UFC closely lately. Trust me, once people see that, and I'm gonna tell you a big part of why I think Turkey Al-Sheikh kind of pressed the gas on that Dana White situation is when they started to complain. I can't believe, and I'm not putting words in promoters' mouth or anything, but when you go to a guy like Turkey Al-Sheikh and say, "Man, I'd rather have 8 fights instead of 13." So you don't want 13, well, 13, that's 26 fighters. So you'd rather, for your selfish reasons, because you don't want to sit in the arena all day, you ain't got nothing else to do but collect the check. So for selfish reasons, you'd rather only pay, 16 fighters instead of trying to pay 26? And people say, man, yeah, Dana White's, man, okay. I'm pretty sure Dana White can come in and do the same thing everybody else doing. Oh, I don't like paying 16 fighters. Let me only pay 26. Those other 10 guys, they can find another date. Then when time goes on, you realize, oh, this guy ain't fought in a year and a half, 2 years. How is he going to be able to benefit from the sport of boxing right now? He's only fighting a couple times a year. I don't know. It's kind of hard to overlook certain things like that. But there's a lot of good news coming out still. Still a lot of good news coming out, but just like Nick Ball, I like what Nick Ball said. Nick Ball, he a dog, man. Sometimes he be doing little dirty tactics in the ring, but he's a dog, man. I'm not gonna lie. For him to say he's not waiting on Navarrete, and then I'm hearing about Espinoza and who's the other fighter at featherweight he was mentioning? Who was the other fighter he mentioned? I know he mentioned Espinoza. Espinoza, dog. He one of the best Mexican fighters right now in the game. I forgot who the names that was mentioned with Nick Ball, though. It was Espinoza and somebody else. But those are the type of matchups we need, especially at 26. I think 126 is gonna be it's gonna be okay, but it's not really as good as it was before. I don't know why, I just got that feeling. Especially after Rovicio Ramirez lost the way he did. I don't know if he's gonna be able to bounce back the same way. Not saying he's finished. It's just a tough road to climb after you done been in a situation like that. I mean, it's a tough road to climb once you get to a certain position in your career. You definitely don't want to waste any time, but it's a lot of talent, man. I'm telling you. Right now, there's so many fights getting announced. It's hard to even keep up with them. Mark Messial versus Eduardo Hernandez. That's going to be a war. The heavyweights are still putting fights together. I hope Joe Joyce all right, because he's been in some tough fights lately. He got stopped a couple times, dropped a couple times. I think he got dropped in his last 3 out of 4 fights. I hope he's all right. Because, you know, people make fun of guys being punch drunk and stuff, but a lot of boxers are still kind of, you know, getting punch drunk a little bit in a lot of these fights. That's still happening a lot more than people realize. A lot of these guys are still coming out of these fights not being able to talk and say certain things. It's bad to see, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Only way you can appreciate guys who went to war like that is by supporting them. That's the only way you really can go through this and, you know, make a difference in a lot of these fights. Got to support these guys. because a lot of these fighters, man, they put a lot on the line. They put a lot on the line. Cause I remember when Mike Tyson, I don't know why, I was hyped about the Mike Tyson fight. Then when he did the weigh-in, you know, it kind of made me hype, but I was like, bro, Mike Tyson look old, man. And then when you hear about the stuff they said about he had to go fight even though he had like a stroke or something or whatever, that's a serious situation. And he still went out there and fought Jake Paul. Not only would Mike possibly have gotten sued, but everybody on that card wouldn't have got paid. And when you look at it and you're like, man, we currently in this era of boxing. But people don't even realize, but Mike had a stroke and he didn't really look the same. He looked old because people was like, he looking older as he comes to the ring. Yeah, because he had health issues going on. And I thought when they canceled the fight the first time, that was just something to say because they wanted to move the fight away from a certain date. But nah, that was serious business though. That was very serious. So it's a lot of boxers still in this era that's you know, becoming punch drunk in a lot of ways. So when that happens, you got to be able to appreciate a lot of these fighters. Because if you don't, you're going to start to realize, oh man, I used to watch that guy. Well, a lot of people don't say that when after guys, after certain fighters. Because I know some guys that been in wars, but they don't get the support they used to get. Oh, this is a new opponent that Kim Bosa is fighting this weekend too. For some reason, I like Jordan. Jordan was a good option, but for some reason, Jordan is not going to be an option. So it looks like Kim Bosa's. It looks like Kim Bosa's will be facing off against Wiley. But I'm not going to lie to you. Don't know much about Wiley. He's a young guy, 16-1, all knockouts, only been knocked out once. Got stopped, 2 years ago? I don't know. This should be an easy one. But the crazy part is, man, this is going to be but the crazy part is he went, I got to watch that fight when he got knocked out. Because he just fought Dana Coolwell. And he got a split decision with Dana Coolwell. And Coolwell was fighting hard against Bruce Carrington. I'm not going to lie, I got to put some respect on Coolwell's name. Because I thought he was possibly going to get stopped in that fight. But Coolwell came to fight, man. Carrington tried to knock him out so bad. Oh yeah, and Bruce Carrington wants to fight at a fight at 126. He's talking about possibly wanting to fight Nick Ball. That would actually be a good fight. If that's a fight he wants to make, both of those guys were supposed to fight not Navarrete, but in a way, possibly this year. It's not going to happen. You know, those guys were planning to fight in a way, possibly like around this time. That's why a lot of things was looking weird when Inoue had the fight with I forgot his name because the fight got canceled. But the last fight Inoue had, they got switched over. That guy was supposed to fight Inoue was supposed to fight like Nick Ball or Carrington by now. But they're talking about him fighting Nakatani at the end of the year. No. Changed my mind. Not Nakatani. They're talking about him fighting Akhmadaliev at the end of the year. Now that's a good fight. But it's a fight that should have happened last year. Good fight, but a fight that should have happened last year though. Definitely is a good fight. Yeah, I would be lying if I said that wasn't a good fight. But the other guy he's fighting, I forgot his name. Anyway, but yeah, it's in my eyes, man. Anyway, should have moved up by now. He's too good. Not to say I want to see him move up and lose. I just feel like Anyway is really too good. To be honest with you, I feel like Anyway is too good, man. To be honest with you, just to be fighting. I'm not gonna say regular guys because these guys are elite fighters. But it's just something, man. I feel like he's just too good for where he's at right now in his career. And you don't want to use your best years fighting guys who are not gonna say sparring partners, but if they're talking about Inoue's brother was supposed to fight Nakatani, but I think he lost. But he was supposed to fight Nakatani. That would have been not to say an easy fight for Nakatani, but if he lost, I don't know how much of a challenge that would have actually been. Because the loss he took was a bad loss. It really was. But even this weekend, we got, and the crazy part about it, I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow. I don't want to speak on a fight I don't know about much. I haven't done that much research. I'll do something tonight. But with Fundora, if the guy, Cordell Booker, that Fundora's fighting this weekend, if he has a little bit of power to the point where he can try to keep Fundora up off of him, he can definitely have a chance. He can definitely have a chance. I know that might sound stupid, but I mean, it worked out for Brian Mendoza. And Brian Mendoza has 4 losses. Brian Mendoza, the crazy part about Brian Mendoza, he had how many losses he had before he fought Fundora? He had 2 losses before he fought Fundora. And that was like one of my sure picks. I was like, yeah, he's definitely gonna beat Fundora. I don't know why I said that. Maybe it was because of the Lubin fight. I seen something, but I was like, he gonna end up getting stopped by Mendoza, because Mendoza's like the strongest puncher out here. But if Booker was able to put some power together, but I don't know if he got power like that. We'll have to see how much he's progressed. He's fighting at 54, and he's technically a 160. So Fundora could go into this fight thinking, okay, this guy's a 54, or he's not that good at 60, but it's a difference when a guy's at 60 and at 54. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Rarely do you see a guy look excellent at 154. No, I'm not going to say rarely. Nah, I'll be wrong if I say that. You do see a lot of guys transition from 54 to 60. But, it's still problems. Different kind of fighter at 60 than at 54. So that little edge right there can actually make that fight closer. Because Booker did get knocked out by M.O. Williams in the first round. But shoot, M.O. Williams was knocking out a lot of guys in the first round when he first started. He knocked out Quatavious Cash, and Cash is a good fighter. He knocked Cash out in the second round. So I don't know, man. Hopefully the fight is competitive. All right, bro. I'm gonna holler at you later a while, man. Hey, you got a lot. If you got a live tomorrow, man, definitely let me know. I'll check it out. But yeah, they got a couple of matchups. Shout out to Native Wildman, man. Everybody subscribe to Native Wildman. Guys, legit. Definitely subscribe to Native Wildman. He's one of the best in the business. You'll definitely love his channel. He got one of the most underrated channels on YouTube. Trust me. But I like this fight card they got coming up this weekend. Now, somebody said that this guy was on this fight card. Let me look it up. Someone said this was, I don't want to say Usyk's cousin. They said it was Bitterbeev's cousin or something like that. Let me look at this. Let me look up this guy. They're talking about this guy that's fighting on Kambosos' card. I don't know if y'all see the guy that's in front of George Kambosos on this picture at the bottom. Behind the two ladies. He's yeah, Katya. I think they said he's like Bitterbeev's a cousin or something. Who's Katya's cousin? I forgot who said that. Shamil Katiev. There might have been another guy I'm referring to then. It might not be Katiev. It's either him or another guy that look alike. They were saying that those guys were cousins. And shout out to Nathan Wildman. But yeah, they got some good fights coming on this weekend, man. These next couple of weeks, you definitely can't overlook these fights. Because anything can happen, trust me. I remember when people was watching, Malik Montgomery fight this weekend too on the Zone. Who card is that gonna be on? Oh, he's fighting on the Zone and it's free. Oh, it's gonna be on YouTube. Okay. I want to see Malik Montgomery. People don't really pay attention to him. If y'all don't know who Malik Montgomery is. But Malik Montgomery, he's very underrated. He's 29 years old. But this is like a Malik Montgomery kind of reminds me of like a Lamont Roach almost. They got two different skill sets, but I'm talking about as far as having that belief in yourself to actually get the job done. He's coming off of 2 straight knockouts. He doesn't have a lot of guys on his pro resume that stand out. But if you look at his amateur resume, he lost to Teofimo Lopez. He beat Bruce Carrington a couple of times. No, he beat Bruce Carrington 3 times. He beat Bruce Carrington 3 times. He beat Joseph Adorno. I don't know what this is, but he had like a withdrawal or something against Jermaine Ortiz. I guess they didn't fight each other. They were supposed to. Somebody withdrawed or something. He beat William Foster. Hey, the dude, he lost to Roach. He did lose to Roach in the finals at the Golden Gloves. Got 2nd place. But if you look at Malik Montgomery's resume, he lost to Kenneth Sims Jr. Shout out to Kenneth Sims, man. He a dog. But look, he beat Edgar Berlanga. He beat Edgar Berlanga. This can't be the Edgar Berlanga I know. Oh, let me show y'all this. Oh, I love boxing. Hey, look at this, man. Dang. Hey, check this out, y'all. This is the guy I'm talking about, Malik Montgomery. Look at the screen. Check this out. Probably, I gotta make a video about this tomorrow. Because I've been trying to do a video on Malik Montgomery for a while, bro. Dude was one of the most underrated fighters. But look at his resume, though. Let me blow it up for everybody so they can see. Well, maybe it's blown up too much. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that. Y'all see the names on here though? This is the amateur record. His pro record is trash. But look at his I ain't gonna say it's trash. It definitely ain't trash. Compared to the amateurs, now look at the amateurs now. You'll think, oh, 47-13? Oh, he's not that good. Look at the names he got on there. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom. He lost to Roach. He beat Berlanga, which is wild. If y'all see the highlight, I don't know why he won a DQ against Albert Bell and Edgar Berlanga. He got some names on that resume though. Kenneth Sims on there, he lost to. Kenneth Sims a good fighter. Lamont Roach lost to him again. For some reason couldn't get past Lamont Roach. You know, when a guy just got your number, it happens sometimes. Trust me. It definitely happened to me a couple times. William Foster. William Foster is the guy who beat Edwin De Los Santos not too long ago. You're not gonna be able to find the fight. I don't know why, but William Foster, he beat De Los Santos not too long ago. Carlos Calderaz. That's the same Carlos Calderaz. Okay. Carlos Calderaz, he lost to him. But he got some names on here. Abel Mendoza. Yeah, he got Jermaine Ortiz, didn't fight him though. Elijah Pierce, who was a beast. Yeah, like I said, Bruce Carrington's on here a couple times. Joseph Ordano. Yeah, man, this dude is underrated. Seriously. Yeah, this guy's overlooked. If he gets his opportunity this year or next year, you can definitely expect a surprise upset like how Lamont Roach did. This dude's underrated. I'm not the best guy when it comes to breaking down fighters or, I'm not a super guru like that, but trust me. The same thing I seen last year when I seen Roach fight last year, I was like, whoa, Roach looked good in this fight. If y'all go back and look at the last fight Roach had when he fought on Pro Box, you can see the power that Roach was displaying. Lamont Roach was throwing a lot of power shots. He was sitting on his punches. He was confident. One thing a lot of people don't give Lamont Roach credit for is he fought in front of that crowd that Tank had. Like, it was 2 people in the crowd. Like, they were in the gym and nobody was in there. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for that either. But Malik Montgomery, one of the most underrated fighters in the game, period. And this goes to show you that a lot of promoters, they have opportunities to get talent like this, but they don't want that to affect their golden gooses. So they don't want to go over there and get a guy at the same weight class, and they already have some guy they built up. So it'll be a conflict of interest in their mind. But guess who would get a guy like Malik Montgomery and say, you know what? I'm going to push this guy. Dana White would. This is why Dana White's dangerous. I can't believe he fought Berlanga. What weight is that he fought Berlanga at? Because I heard Berlanga say that he was a smaller guy back then, like at a small weight class. Like, I don't know. It had to be featherweight or something. Yeah, but Berlanga been in the gym though. Put on that weight. But that's a lot of weight he's put on since then. That's crazy. Yeah, guys were still in high school around that time. But that's a good resume for a guy like Malik Montgomery. But yeah, this is the kind of guys that Dana White's gonna be looking at though. If you look at the amateur resume he has, Albert Bell, Kenneth Sims, Lamont Roach, Edgar Berlanga, William Foster, who beat De Los Santos right before Shakur Stevenson did, Carlos Calderaz, Jermaine Ortiz, that was a council fight, Bruce Carrington 3 times, and he won. Dana White gonna be like, yeah, let me get this guy. Cause it's more, Dana White's, he knows a little bit about boxing now. It's not like a promoters out here just know everything. I've seen promoters get guys to fight for main events and they never seen the guy fight. I see Eddie Hearn tell a guy that before. I don't know if I believe him or not. He said it though. Maybe he was just being sarcastic, but I heard a guy say, Eddie, you didn't see me fight before, have you? He was like, nah, I haven't. I will Saturday, but no, I haven't seen you fight. I've been in a main event fight. Yeah, so a lot of times, man, you can definitely you can see the good in certain things that happen in boxing, but Malik Montgomery is definitely gonna be one of those guys. My bad, I was looking at his website real quick. But Malik Montgomery, he's definitely one of those guys, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Dana White has plenty of talent. It might not be guys but it's guys like Lamont Roach that's all over America right now. All over America. All over Australia, all over Mexico. Look at Rafael Espinoza. Dude had Fight of the Year, not last year, but when Espinoza had Fight of the Year? What was that, 2023? And the dude, that was his first fight in America. Never fought outside of Mexico. First time he stepped foot out of Mexico, he goes and fight a gold medalist. Breaks his ankle and still beats him. Yeah, his first fight outside of Mexico was against Robeisy Ramirez. So he's only fought 3 times outside of Mexico. And before that, he was fighting guys that had 17 wins, 33 losses, 12 wins, 24 losses. He was fighting these guys in 2022. Then the very next year, he goes out and fights a gold medalist in Robeisy Ramirez, the same gold medalist that beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics, and beats him. Then he comes out the next fight and stops him. So they have plenty of talent to pick from. That's why a lot of these promoters are like, man, I'm going to have a lot of trouble fighting over a lot of these guys and trying to pick in between who's better for this and who's better for that. It's going to be hard to pick and choose now or play favorites with certain guys. You're going to be forced to choose at a certain point. That's sports, it happens, but you're going to be forced at a certain point. Hopefully everything pans out. Hopefully everything does pan out, but it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy as everybody thinks. And I love the way boxing is going right now. I think boxing is in a great spot right now. And I think that if a lot of people just look at the landscape, it's so much talent, I'm telling you. Look up Malik Montgomery. He's fighting this weekend. I'm going to start doing some, starting tomorrow. I'll be doing some predictions. I might put some out tonight. I know somebody was asking about the Scott Nicholson and Tierra Brown fight. It's going to be some good fights on this weekend. Couple of no names that people will feel like there's no names, but I wouldn't sleep on it. You can definitely, it's a possibility of upset can happen this weekend. And they have a lot of fights coming on. They got a pro box fight coming on with Lester Martinez, Joson James. Like I said, you got Malik Montgomery fighting. That's most likely going to be on. Is that going to be on YouTube and DAZN or just DAZN? It might be on DAZN, just on DAZN. Then you got Terrell Goucher, Jesus Ramos. You got Elijah Garcia. Then you got Fundora. Who's the other names they got on here? They're going to have some good Mexican fighters on here. Maurice Lee and Rojas. That's going to be a good fight. Mora. I don't know how to say that guy's name. Where is he from? Oh, Ukrainian guy from Southpaw, 34 years old. Okay. Oh, Robert Garcia's son is going to be fighting against, I think this is going to be his 5th fight. Okay. Robert Garcia. I mean, Guerrero, my bad. Not Robert Garcia. Robert Guerrero, who fought against Floyd Mayweather. His son is 18 years old. He's going to be fighting in Vegas. Well, no, I'm saying he's fighting out of Vegas. Well, he will be in Vegas. Yeah, it's going to be in Vegas. Then you got Joseph Brown fighting this weekend. Okay. Got a couple of Mayweather guys fighting on this card. Jersey Vargas. That's the guy that looks like Tank Davis with the braids. Short guy. Got Joseph Brown fighting this weekend. Oh, yeah, I got to leave this up. Yeah, I got to look that up. So they got Jersey Vargas, the guy who looks like Tank Davis. He's fighting this weekend. And Joseph Brown. Joseph Brown is a good fighter. He's underrated. He's I know people pay attention to Camaro Moulton because he reminds them of Tank Davis and stuff, but Joseph Brown is not a guy you definitely will overlook. He's one of the most underrated prospects that don't get talked about. He's probably the best prospect that nobody talks about. He's probably the best prospect that nobody talks about. He's in the same mold as, I don't want to say as, well, I don't know, bro. Like, he has a chance to be, I don't want to compare him to another prospect, but he can be like Abdullah Mason type of level. I know that might sound crazy, but dude has that kind of skill set. He's that good. Yeah, he's really that good. He's known as a prodigy. He's one of the best fighters that I've seen as far as young guys. He's only 18. Yeah, very underrated talent. Big guy too. He's 18, 6'2". Dude's 6'2". And he's fighting at 154. And he's 6'2". And he's solid too. He's not like skinny or anything like that. But he's 6'2". And he's fighting at 154. He's called a prodigy. Orthodox fighter. Yeah, he's definitely somebody you can't overlook. But Floyd is impressed by the young guy. It's him, Camaro Moulton, and he has the Jersey Vargas guy. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a good fight card. They got some good fight cards coming on this weekend. Might have to look at all the undercards this weekend. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I might be live all weekend. As far as Saturday, my bad. As far as Saturday, I might be live all weekend. I need to see a lot of these fights with these prospects in there. Yeah, if you guys have some time this weekend, I would definitely try to look at either Fundora's undercard, or the Kambosos undercard. I would recommend those two undercards. Those are good fight undercard. But Malik Montgomery is probably the most underrated fighter I ain't gonna say the most underrated. I don't know, man. He's up there. He's like top 10 right now for me. If you look at his amateur resume, bro, he's good. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't even look at his amateur resume till recently. Just now, honestly. Stu got Berlanga on there and Bruce Carrington, and kind of threw me off just now. I mean, he just seen every kind of style you could think of. And even Berlanga has said that he was more of a boxer in the amateurs than he is a power puncher. I think he showed that during the Canelo fight. That he's more of a boxer than a guy that's just going out there slugging it out. And even next weekend, they got Luis Alberto Lopez, William Zepeda, Michaela Mayer, Brian Norman Jr. versus Cuevas. They got Bruce Carrington fighting next weekend. Yeah, man, they got some good fights coming on these next couple of weeks. Boxing is definitely not cheating anybody. And then the week after that, they're gonna have Joe Joyce fighting Hergovic. They got a good pro box card that's loaded. Abdullah Mason fighting Giovanni Cabrera April 5th. Tim Tszyu fighting that day. So now we're starting to see at least, I think the only weekend that's kind of going to be a little shaky is probably the weekend of Bruce Ennis fight, but they still got a pro box fight coming on that day. So from what I'm seeing, they have at least 2 to 3 big fight cards every Saturday for the next, I don't want to lie, for the next, until June. Until June. No, until May. Until May. Because I don't know how far they are into the fights for June. I think they're still doing fights for June. They just put the Josh Taylor fight together. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano got made for July. It's going to be 2 or 3 fight cards on every weekend, whether it's in the afternoon or night. And I don't know why pro box is going on Saturdays now, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The pro box having fight cards on Saturday is, I don't know, it looks weird. I don't like it. And they're only doing fights on Saturdays now. Is anybody else putting the fight card on a Wednesday? I don't know, I don't understand that. But I will say, these next, I don't know about this weekend, because you got heavy favorites coming in. But they are fighting some of their toughest opponents besides Fundora. Yeah, besides Fundora and Kambosos. Everybody else is probably gonna be one of the toughest fights. I know Booker's gonna come to fight against Fundora, but I don't know if Booker's not better than Lubin and all these other guys, but this is a career fight for him. Depending on what kind of boxer you are, some of these guys will show up when needed. When they need to show up, a lot of these guys will show up. Yeah, when it's time to show up, these guys are showing up. You got to respect that. Yeah, you got to respect that, man, the way they're moving. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I just wanted to come in here and go through a couple of things. I'm actually going to get off of here, and I'm going to drop a lot of prediction videos this weekend for you guys. I know a lot of people was asking me about that, so I'm going to get off of here. And over the next couple of days, you're going to see a lot of prediction videos come from me. And I know a lot of people been asking about that because they don't know too much about these fighters fighting over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and put some work in on that. But I don't know, man. You might see some random lives from me. I don't know if anybody wants to join the Discord. Let me go ahead and put that up there. It's a lot more people in Discord than I thought, but Yeah, if anybody wants to join, that's definitely the link right there. But it's gonna be a lot of fights coming on this weekend. It's a lot of fights. And Mayweather has a lot of prospects. I didn't know that Jersey. Let me show everybody who Jersey looks like. I don't know if everybody knows. To most guys, he's still unknown. Well, yeah, this is the guy they say look like Tank Davis. And he's a Cuban fighter, so I think it's Cuban fighter. I think it's a Cuban fighter. But yeah, he's fighting this weekend, a guy that looks like Tank Davis. So Mayweather's gonna have a lot of fighters on this fight card. Well, actually, I can get this picture. This will be better. These are two guys that's fighting this weekend, though. New prospects. That dude look like Tank with braids in his head. But yeah, this guy Joseph Brown right here, he's called a prodigy. It's a young guy. He's a specimen. He's 6'2", 154. So he's like a young guy, but he's like a bigger version of Charlo. He's only 18. 154, 6'2". That's insane. I didn't know he was 6'2". I did not know he was 6'2". Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. This guy he does look like Tank, man, a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Especially when you look at his younger pictures. Yeah, you go through this guy's pictures, he looks like Tank. This dude looks just like Tank. I thought people were just saying that. This dude looks like Tank, man. Show y'all this guy's pictures. Don't they look like Tank on these pictures? Dude look just like Tank. But yeah, he's fighting this weekend though. So Mayweather's gonna have it's kind of confirmed that Mayweather beef between him and Tank is real because Mayweather hasn't had any kind of fighters on Tank Davis card, but this Sebastian Fundora card, he's gonna have two of his prospects on there. So he's still dealing with PBC. I was kind of like thinking that he maybe was gonna step away from PBC, but I didn't really take it as serious as far as him completely not dealing with PBC, because from what I seen, it says that Mayweather Promotions is gonna be behind this fight. They'll be a part of it. Yeah, where is it at? Yeah, this card will be promoted by TGB Promotions, Sampson Boxing, and Mayweather Promotions. Yeah, so Mayweather's still dealing with PBC. So that is just a Tank Davis situation with him and Tank is beefing. Because a lot of people say, man, you know, him and Tank always get into it before a fight. That's why I had to make that live I made private, because I don't know. It was like the day I made a live about Mayweather and Tank, that same day, Tank was like, yeah, Floyd is stuck in Dubai. And as soon as Tank said that, he was like, Floyd stuck in Dubai. YouTube flagged my video. That's one of the only videos I've ever had flagged. I did a live on Floyd, and I was talking about Tank and Floyd. And I rarely talk about Tank or Floyd together. If you follow my channel, I never talk about Tank and Floyd. That was like the only time I did. And the day I talked about it, he came out, said Floyd stuck in Dubai. I'm like, bro, this is weird. Then turn around, and he kicked Floyd out the fight card with his fighters. That's when I knew then. I said, oh yeah, it's serious. It's serious. And that's a whole nother topic. That's something you can talk about for a long time. But yeah, Floyd Mayweather, see at the bottom right there, the card will be promoted by TGB Promotions, Sampson Boxing, and Mayweather Promotions. It's a good fight card too. So you got Joseph Brown, Jersey Vargas, both 4-0, three knockouts. Yep, they fight on every card together. I don't see Camille Moten on here, but everybody else I see, they fight on every card together. Camille Moten just fought anyways because he was supposed to fight on another card, and that thing happened on Danny Garcia's card, and then he fought recently. So I definitely don't expect him to jump on this card with these guys. Couple of months he will though. Yeah, in a couple of months he definitely will be included and added to the mix. Yeah, he'd definitely be added to the mix, man. That's crazy though. That is wow. So Floyd is still making moves with PBC. That means the platform is not going to end all the way. I don't know where they're going to be when the Amazon deal runs out. I don't know where they're going to be. But PBC as a platform is still going. It's not going to slow down, I don't think. It looks like they're starting to hit their stride right now because a lot of these fights were technically supposed to be done August, September, October. I don't think they wanted to overlap the fight cards that Turkey Al-Sheikh had. Then you had Virgil Ortiz and Boychuk fight a week after Majamov and Crawford. Then you had Fedora and Smith was supposed to fight in October. Then that turned into Bakaram and Tszyu. So they're trying to fix these schedules up, but yeah, that's a big deal that Floyd Mayweather is still dealing with PBC. I'm gonna tell you why, because Floyd was just dealing with the zone, and he was having conversations with Eddie Hearn. So yeah, he's definitely moving like a promoter right now. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's gonna be some good fight cards on this weekend. PBC's undercards have been underrated. The last one they had with Benavidez, I think I kind of missed that one. Was it Benavidez? What was the last? I think it was the one with Tank. I think I missed a lot of that one. I think I called most of the Benavidez and Morrell fight card, though, the undercard. But this one right here is pretty good, though. I'm not going to lie. This is underrated. Robert Guerrero Jr., the guy who fought Floyd, his son's fighting. It's a lot of people on this fight card, especially prospects. This guy, Serta, I haven't seen him fight yet. I'm going to have to check him out. Fighting the guy who's 14-9-1. Then Joseph Brown's fighting against a prospect who's also undefeated. Yeah, so Floyd putting these guys in there with some tough prospects. Okay. Yeah, that works. I've heard of Maurice Lee. And then Rojas, I've seen Rojas fight. Seen Rojas fight. Yeah, but that guy Sampson been signing up some good talent, man. Especially these Mexican fighters. He been finding some dogs. I don't know, man. Between that fight card and Kambosos, yeah, they're gonna have some things that because you still got Terrell Goucher and Jesus Ramos fighting on that fight card. Yeah, then you got Probox, Lester Martinez. Yeah, they're gonna have some good matchups coming up. These next 2 weekends gonna be loaded. It's not gonna be a lot of big names. Fedora's a big name. You know, he got a couple of other guys that's notable, but I would say keep an eye open because you might see somebody that might be your favorite, a new favorite you might have over the next 5 years. I don't know much about the Jersey guy, but I don't know, man. Is Floyd putting that Jersey guy in a situation where he might wake up one day and say, hey, this guy better than Tank. And he looks like Tank. Then people to say Floyd would know better, you know. He's the one that helped, you know. People are going to say, well, Floyd has experience with Tank, so he would know better than anybody. But yeah, I'm surprised that Joseph Brown is 154, 6'2", at the age of 18. As a boxer, I don't know if you want to stand in front of a guy like that, just to be honest. Don't know if you want to stand in front of a fighter like that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to put out a lot of videos. I gotta put some work in, get up off of here. But I'm gonna do a panel in the morning and tomorrow. I know I said I was gonna do one today, but as you see from the title, I had to put these people in check today. If anybody experiences this, you can hit me in the comment section. I'll be able to let you know what to do. But yeah, this is I had to put them in check, so that's why the title is like that. But this weekend is gonna be underrated though. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. I'm gonna have to put some extra work in tonight so I can present this to you guys tomorrow. So you might see a lot of random things come out about these fighters and their fights coming up this weekend. But just to notify everybody, you know, a lot of people busy right now. It's starting to get warmer. A lot of people going outside. Spring starting to really open up. It's gonna be people that's gonna be outside a lot more late at night. So they're definitely gonna need some notifications as far as knowing what's happening this weekend. Because even I was surprised. I wasn't expecting Joseph Brown and Vargas to fight this weekend, but that's good. I've been waiting on these guys to actually get in the ring again. Because I think I missed them on the Gotti and Mayweather card. They was on that card. I didn't watch that though. I seen Carmel Moulton fight, but I didn't see these two guys fight. I didn't even go back and watch them when the fight was over, I don't think. So yeah, this is definitely a good fight card. Do they have any fights coming on? Yeah, they got some. And then that Kambosos fight, that's gonna be coming on Saturday morning. When is the 22nd? That Kambosos fight is gonna be on 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning. So if y'all see me, I might be live for that. It's like a 99% chance I'm gonna be live for that fight. So they got some good odds on these fights too. They got some good odds. They got Tierra Brown plus 700. Man, they expecting her to get washed. I don't know, man. I like Scott Nicholson too, but this girl Tierra Brown's a lot better than I thought she was. Yeah, I don't know if people been watching the women's fights lately, but they have been showstoppers. Ever since Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fought, it seemed like these women fights been at a high level. Sandy Ryan and Michaela Mayer fighting again. That was a classic fight, the first one. And then that Dubois fight, the Asian guy the Asian lady she was fighting recently. I forgot what country she's from. Japanese or China. She might be from a different country. I know she's Asian. Man, she almost stopped Dubois. And Dubois was beating the brakes off of her. I've never seen a lady beat the brakes off somebody for like 7, 8 rounds. And then almost get stopped because I don't know, man. She looked like she was fighting a zombie or something. But yeah, they got some good fights coming on this weekend. I don't know. It's gonna be some parlays out there for people to hit. Then you got Pro Box fighting this week. Have a fight coming on this weekend. But the guy Malik Montgomery though, Malik Montgomery's fighting this week, and Bruce Carrington's fighting next week. Bro, if you look at Malik Montgomery's, I keep saying this, but I'm telling you guys, he's 29 right now. He's the same age as Lamont Roach. Malik Montgomery, he beat Bruce Carrington like 3 times in the amateurs. Then he beat Edgar Berlanga. The dude's only like a 130, 126. And he's getting past people like this in the amateurs. That's why I said Dana White is going to have plenty of talent to pick from. And I'm going to tell you guys something else too. Don't overlook the fact that Dana White used to work for Mayweather. So if Floyd Mayweather needs a fight or he needs a platform, guess what? Dana White going to be right there. Dana White's going to be the first person that hit up Floyd. Hey, Floyd, you got a Carmel Moulton guy? How much he made his last fight? Oh, okay. Joseph Brown? You got some prospects over there? What about that guy that looked like Tank? I'm trying to put him on the fight card. So don't be surprised if Floyd has that Canelo fight, that Canelo and Crawford fight come up and you see one of Floyd fighters on that fight card. Especially if it's on Netflix. Don't be surprised. Because people will say, man, it's going to be hard to find talent that you can pay like that. No, it's not. It's not. You can find the talent. This dude, Malik Montgomery, has a resume, man. Please check this guy out. I'm talking about the names he got on his resume. Teofimo. He lost to Teofimo. Split decision, though. Split decision. This dude got so many #1 contenders and champions on his resume. This is crazy. You know you got a good resume when you fighting. When you fighting at 135, 130, and you got Edgar Berlanga on your resume. And you beat him. You beat Berlanga and you beat Bruce Carrington, but don't nobody know who you are. And you beat William Foster. Man. That's a good resume, man. We're talking about just strictly Americans on there. That's even harder to do. To fight those type of guys in tournaments, in big tournaments like the amateurs and stuff like that, to fight these type of guys, that means you was putting in some serious work. That means you was putting in some serious work. And then he was in a tournament when he fought Berlanga. Yeah, I want to see what Malik Montgomery does. I'm making a prediction right now. Malik Montgomery is going to be the next. I was picking Lamont Roach to be like Daniel Dubois. You know how like Daniel Dubois was last year? I was picking Lamont Roach to be that for this year. But next year, I think I'm rolling with Malik Montgomery. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm rolling with him as far as being able to go out. The dude fought Joseph Ardorno too. And we know Joseph Ardorno is a good fighter. He don't fight nothing but good competition. He fought Joseph Ardorno too. Dang. I don't know, man. Malik Montgomery can probably he probably can go out there and beat up Edwin De Los Santos right now. I know that might sound ridiculous. But if you look at the styles that De Los Santos have issues with, and then he's already beat 2 guys that De Los Santos went the distance with. Because De Los Santos only went the distance twice. He's went the distance with. Nah, have you went? Yeah, he's only went. Hold on. No. Let me not say that wrong now. He's went the distance 3 times, 4 times. And one of the fights was a 6-round fight. And the other fights he went the distance with Joseph Ardarno and William Foster. He beat Ardarno, but he lost to Foster. And Malik Montgomery beat both of them in the amateurs. Convincingly. It wasn't no split decision or nothing. So yeah, like I said, man, Dana White has a lot of talent, man. This is a guy he needs to sign. Well, he's already with OTX boxing though. He's already with OTX. So he's in good hands. He already with OTX. He's already been getting showcased on DAZN. With the tournament they've been having. Everybody been watching OTX boxing. But I could see Malik Montgomery coming in and causing some serious issues for a lot of people. I'm telling you, he can be the. I don't think it's gonna happen this year, but next year, he can spoil the party and tell you be the same thing as like Lamont Roach and Dane Dubois has been. You just got to catch guys at the right time. Between that age of 26, 29, 30. Guys who haven't really been in those type of fights like main events, but they have a good amateur background. Yeah, you can cause some issues. And that makes me want to look at something else on Roach too. Like Nair Albright. Roach beating him. And he fought Carrera. Dang, Roach fought a lot of guys. I didn't even know Roach fought Keyshawn Davis, brother. Man. Lamont Roach fought Keyshawn Davis, brother. Man, he fought a lot of guys, man. But I ain't gonna lie, Montgomery, his resume, his amateur thing, his amateur, his amateur resume is pretty good as well. Might be slightly better, even though Lamont Roach beat him up a couple of times. He beat Montgomery like 2 or 3 times. And Albright was a guy that gave Keyshawn Davis his toughest fight that I've seen. That was the toughest fight that Keyshawn Davis had to this day is Nair Albright. That was the guy that Keyshawn had went the distance with. Not last December, but the December before that, when he had the drug situation, the weed test. And that ended up being a no contest. But that fight was actually his toughest fight. And me being a guy who, I'm a fan of Keyshawn Davis, I was slightly leaning towards Albright in that fight, even with 1 or 2 losses. Because of this right here. I didn't know this guy was he fought Lamont Roach. Doesn't have too many names on his amateur resume online, but he fought Abraham Nova too. The first fight they have on here is Lamont Roach though, for some reason. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Dana White has plenty of talent that he can pick from. That's going to be a bad problem for a lot of people because now, you might be in front of somebody that might be able to beat you that you didn't expect to be in front of. I wonder what Floyd's plan is as far as with that Jersey guy. Is he promoting that guy to the point? And hey, and that Jersey guy call himself the Gorilla. Dang. This what we doing? Dang, Tank, they finna try to replace you, dog. And he called himself the Gorilla. Dude look just like Tank. That's wild. Floyd, hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying this to be messy or anything, bro. Floyd be doing some weird stuff. This is one of the weirdest things I ever seen in my life, man. He got a guy that look just like Tank. It's a smart idea now, but it's one of the I don't know. Naming the guy, him having the nickname the Gorilla. That's I don't know. That's kind of weird. That's when it gets weird. Cause Tank says ape. He has like the ape-ish kind of branding, the gorilla stuff. But for this guy to be looking like Tank and had a similar like kind of his nickname is kind of like branding with Tank. Then people feel like Carmel Moulton looks like Tank or fights like Tank or whatever. Then you got a guy that looks like Tank. It's like, dang, Floyd just signing fighters that look like Tank right now. Joseph Brown don't look like Tank, but the other two guys do. Yeah, this is wild. I've never seen nothing like this before. It kind of takes you and gives you some insight in kind of like how Floyd actually thinks. Is this kind of a marketing scheme or is this something like I can make another Tank? I'm thinking more so this is I can make another Tank and show you that you wasn't the one that had all the hype behind you. That came from me. It kind of sounds like what Floyd's doing. Like, man, all that hype behind you came from me. And I'm not saying that. It's kind of how he's moving right now. Even when he has Carmel Moulton, the first thing people say is, oh, he reminds me of Tank. And I know Floyd like, good. I want him to remind you of Tank. So you can forget about Tank as soon as I get this guy going. And that's gonna be the whole plan. Remember I said that now. Because Tank he ain't gonna be able to fight forever. Tank 30 years old. This Jersey Vargas guy is 20 years old. So by the time Tank is 40, this guy Vargas is gonna be 30. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. If Vargas is anything close to Gamboa, he gonna be an issue. And Floyd would know better than I would as far as Gamboa, because he was around Gamboa, and I think 50 Cent was managing Gamboa at a certain point. And I think Gamboa has the same kind of measurements. I don't know what this guy's arm lift is, but yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get Gamboa pull his measurements up real quick. Cause this dude kind of made like Gamboa. I'm sitting right here looking. I'm like, oh, he does remind you of Gamboa. And that's what kind of helped me pick. I ain't gonna put that out too much. We still got a rematch coming up. Yeah, Gamboa is 5'5", 65-inch arm reach. So Gamboa is about the same size as this guy, Jersey Vargas. Jersey Vargas, Gamboa, and Lamont Roach is around the same size. And if you look at Gamboa and Lamont Roach, Gamboa got stopped in the 12th round, but he went 12 rounds with Tank. Lamont Roach did as well. So a guy with measurements like that, if he's able to bring a certain kind of arsenal, he will be a problem. And I think by the time Tank gets 34, the guy Jersey Vargas 24, maybe if Tank is 33, maybe Floyd steps to the table and say, hey, I want this guy. I want you to fight this guy. Because you usually don't see a guy fighting another undefeated fighter or a guy with one loss in his third or fourth fight in the pros. That usually doesn't happen. But yeah, I think Floyd got a master plan behind that. I think he's gonna cause a lot of issues with that one. Oh man, you know what the craziest part about this is? It's gonna be a lot of people that's going to be fans of Tank that might take a liking to this guy while Tank is still active. And depending on what kind of matchups this guy has, you know, depending on who you're fighting, you could look good in front of anybody. So it might be a certain point where a guy like Tank will be like, hey, man, this dude ain't really that good. Look who he fight. Hey, put me in the ring with him. And I don't want a lot of money. I just want to show Floyd what time it is. Put him in the ring with me. That could happen. Don't be surprised. I've heard people recently say something about Carmel Moan and Tank fighting or something like that. I'm like, bro, come on. Now this Jersey Vargas guy, yeah. Not to say that Carmel Moan ain't good or nothing. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's why he's there, to just fight for Tank. Now this guy, I think that's why he's there. Carmel Moan got 61 wins and 3 losses in the amateurs. And he's 5'4". He around the same size as Tank, just like this Jersey Vargas guy. And you got to realize, too, Floyd is getting fighters around that weight class. Floyd is not usually a guy who gets fighters around 130, 135. If you know the history of Floyd, he's had guys like Tank and Haney around that size, but he didn't know those guys were going to grow into that size. He grabbed these guys straight out of the amateurs and said, oh, yeah, 130, 135, 26 or whatever. So he picked the guy who could specifically compete with Tank. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. I like it, though. It makes some intrigue to it. Yeah, I definitely like that. Because that would actually be a good storyline. I'm not usually the person that likes storylines and boxing and everything else, but that actually would be a good storyline. But Vargas he has to basically get better and put himself in a position where he actually can take a fight like that. But I don't think he got to be a number one contender to do it. I think once people start comparing him to Tank more and he make a little noise, and people can say, hey, he could be the next Tank. Tank will be like, nah, I get in the ring with him right now. And it's possible. 23 years old, Teofimo fought Loma at 23. Yeah, that's a very realistic fight. I'm not even gonna lie, man. If I was Dana White right now, I'd be rubbing my hands like Birdman. Because a lot of these guys aren't really high-paid stars yet. A lot of these guys are not stars like that yet. And he might be able to pull some fighters. I don't know. Gamboa made too much money now. I know not too long ago Gamboa wasn't making that much, but yeah, I don't know. Depends. What happened with Gamboa? Let me see. I ain't know Bob Arum sued Gamboa or his promoters or whatever at the time. That's crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to go through that, man. Talk about some different things, but I'm gonna do some research on these fights this weekend. If anybody want to catch some good, exclusive stuff, you can definitely go to the middle of this live. But I'm gonna try to have a panel on in the morning tomorrow. Try to find a topic to talk about, but yeah. If you haven't noticed what I was talking about earlier, Can't believe Floyd Mayweather is having two of his prospects fight on Fundora's card on PBC this weekend. I don't know if that's big news, but kind of surprising to me. Not all the way surprised, because he was still kind of, the only reason he wasn't fighting on PBC because of Tank situation. Wasn't trying to have him on his cards. And PBC hasn't had that many cards since Tank fought Frank Martin. Besides Tszyu, a couple of other people. Benavidez, but that's about it though. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. Checking the live out. I'm gonna holler at you guys tomorrow. I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I'm gonna have some exclusive stuff come out soon though.